Hello everyone, it's Matt here and welcome to an update on the N5c cabin car project. Now it's only been a week since the announcement and really about a week and I said 12 hours, maybe a bit more, since I started putting the wheels into motion for it, to use the phrase. So I'm going to show off the current state of the physical model first. So obviously you can see there's still plenty missing, the tiles, the doors, so there's no doors in it yet. There's quite a lot of other pieces missing. The height is wrong on the cupola. There's lots of little pieces that are wrong, like the wrong colour, the wrong, there's no floor, no floor at all. So there's a lot of work to do on the physical model, and there's just as much work to do on the digital model as well. So we'll now go to that. So you can see me here in the top left, and this is the cabin car as it currently is. This is the BA side, I think it is. So B is on the left, and then A is on the right. And the way you can tell this is just to look at the cupola, because the one side has a small window aperture and the other side has a larger window aperture. Depending on the side of the car you're looking at as well, you'll also have this toilet vent as well. Now obviously the toilet is not inside. I've not modelled any interior to this yet, but that's another easy way to tell. If it's got the toilet vent, you're on a certain side. Now I've changed a few pieces on this since I've actually done this. This is supposed to be the door handle. The door handle is actually wrong. It's supposed to be one of these, so I'll just fix that now. Like that. So it uses a lot of snot, this car. The angled windows as well on the front of the cupola. I'm probably going to have to file some of the clips and possibly a plate to get that angle across both sides, because at the moment you can fit one side in, then the other side won't fit because there's actually sort of blocking each other in. So I can't do that. If they were flush, flat, then yes. But because you need that slight angle, it's ever so slight, just to get that sort of slight more wedge shape. You can't actually do it with standard Lego, and you might have, and you're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to file it. To do it using official Lego pieces is probably going to take too much effort to try and find and work out a solution, because it's such a tiny angle and you're working with such tight tolerances as well for the this angle. I mean, to be honest with you, the whole cupola itself should be slightly angled in, but the rate of angle is so tiny, even when talking a Lego thing, it's so tiny, it's not even a stud's worth. It's like half a stud's worth, sort of like a jumper space. So you can't realistically model that in Lego without some big modifications to like the cupola roof and how you actually build that out and all that sort of stuff. So modelling that slight angle on the cupola for the sides, so this bit here, is just not worth the effort. One thing you may notice as well, there's a difference between the physical model I have and the digital model on the screen, is actually to do with the height of the cupola as well, which is why you've got these height bricks here. Because I was in discussion with OK Brickworks about decals for it, and he's obviously had a copy of the file so we can actually measure out the scales and that sort of stuff. And I'd actually not checked the height of the model to see whether it was correct. Now, luckily for me, I'd opened up the Excel spreadsheet with all the measurements, and so I went, right, I need to have a look at this. So I put a piece of track in, had to take a wheel off, put a piece of track in, a couple of plates to meet rail height. I then started adding bricks, because it's supposed to be 9 bricks to the top of the roof for the main body, and then 11 studs to the top. So also you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 there to the walkway, which is to scale, and then you've got another 2 to the top of the cupola roof. So effectively I've had to take the cupola, what I'd got, off, add a couple of plates in, and then add the cupola back on top. So what I actually did was, there's a 2x1x2 brick there, and then 1x2 plate there. Now obviously I could change that round and just make this bit here, because there's two 1x3 plates there, just a straight 1x8 plate, which I probably will do just to smooth out the line break and to make it a bit smooth. But this is just a interview, just like get this done. So I've done it that way, just because it makes it a bit easier to build it digitally. Now obviously, now that I've got it in and realise that I've done this, I can actually change it back and reduce the piece count, you know, because 1x8s I've got stuff in stock. So it just makes it a bit easier. One thing you may notice as well is that the roof is different, obviously, because the cupola height is now different. You know, I don't have to have that funny sort of roof angling at the start of the cupola. The one issue is that the walkway on the drawings I'm working from actually runs all the way to the front windscreen. Now, that is not possible with standard Lego, so I've got to sort of deal with the problem of I can end it earlier, which is using a more stock Lego, or I could modify it. The issue, and so not go with stock. The main issue being, if I don't go with stock, is that the sort of like grill tiles aren't actually held in anywhere except for the ends, you know, because the central bar's not joined anywhere else. So that's going to be an issue. So I'm probably just going to leave them as I've got here, with this one on the side and then the others coming out, just because it makes it a bit easier from that perspective. In terms of everything else, the roof has gone through a redesign. So I've kind of borrowed some of the BMR design principle. So the main roof, I'll actually go back to the camera, and it's something you won't actually find in the digital model, is that the end roof actually comes off like that. So it's a fairly clean break, except for the fact it takes the little jumper piece off. But what this does is it means then I can build the roof in solidly, build the detailing without too much fear about like stress on the body, because the thing is that the roof actually holds the top of the body in and keeps it all nice and rigid. So doing this for the end isn't too much of a bother. The main issue I've got is when I add these in, there is a tendency for them to sort of sag, sort of like that, and then come off. But that's actually not too much of an issue, because once I've done the end sort of ironwork, so the ladder and that sort of stuff, that will actually help support the roof slightly. So I can actually go in, if I'm careful and sort of put it there where the last two grill tiles are, it kind of holds it in a bit better. So I might have to change the one, change the one bit to a 2x4 plate there, but I'm going to have to change the whole design anyway because the computer changes. So there's a lot of changes I've got to enact between the digital model and the physical model, and there's quite a few things as well to do, just with general bits and pieces. One of the other things as well is that I've got a lot of orders in from Brickling. A good portion of those are just to do with getting parts for the N5c. Now obviously that's not an entire guarantee, and I still can't find the parts. There's a grill tile gone missing somewhere. There it is. So there's quite a lot of things to do with the physical model, but literally I'm just waiting for parts now. It's literally the waiting game. So that's pretty much it for the update. There's going to be a few changes as well to the physical model compared to the digital one. The bogies are the biggest one at the moment because obviously I've not got the finalised design down. It's pretty good, but I think I'm probably going to modify it slightly. The changes as well, I'm going to actually using the Brickoms monopods for the bogie detailing for the centre spring, and then change a few bits and pieces around with that. So that's something that's going to get changed as well. So as good as the digital version is, it's prone to change, especially when I can work things out differently in the physical world and then change it on the digital model. So effectively, that's it for the update. You know, it's had quite a lot of good progress, and effectively, I'm just waiting for the dark red 4x8 plates to arrive so that I can do the floor. And then once I've got the floor in, I can do the underframe. I can put the bogies in. I can do this. I can do that. You know, I mean, the steps on the corners, they only went on the digital model today. In actual, I think it was about an hour ago. So, you know, it's good progress, but effectively I'm waiting for parts at the moment. So that's the main takeaway. So that's it for the update, and see you later.